a new tool to combat derelict properties in Regina. The speaker in the legislature is fed up with the lack of decorum. And a show made in Regina that's supposed to be childish.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. You can find these eyesores all over the city of Regina, especially in the north central neighborhood. Derelict properties run down and boarded up with owners unwilling to make improvements. Well, City Council has created a new property tax subclass they hope will force renovations to be made. Donovan Mace explains how.
Owners of boarded up homes like this may soon have to renovate their property or pay more property tax.
A lot of these properties were not paying their fair share. So by having this additional tool now, we will make sure that it is kind of a base tax, that people are paying an additional amount that they're currently not paying.
This week, City Council approving the creation of a new property tax subclass for derelict and nuisance properties in an attempt to hand down harsher penalties for owners who do not upkeep their lots. The mill rate factor would be set at 5 times the standard mill rate for non-compliance, following a model first adopted by the City of Edmonton.
You're either in the subclass or you're not. You're either paying 5 times or you're not. So there's no, right? There's going to be a bunch of gray area in determining whether or not you're in the class. So lots of people will appeal and say my property's not actually derelict.
If enforcement has already tripled the pace of demolitions and compliance, my question is why add a new tool that administration itself has said will require extra staff, more inspections and appeals?
In addition to current bylaw enforcement practices and demolitions, the city hopes the subclass will encourage property owners to act. Enforcement, the Heritage Community Association says, has not been strong enough.
It sends a really terrible message. You wouldn't find this neglect in any other community in the city. The messaging is not the same, and it should be equal.
We owe it to especially the North Central and Heritage communities to show that we as a city do care. We care about those areas of the city, and that takes effort, that takes investment.
Administration will be bringing forward its draft subclass criteria for budget deliberations at the end of this year, but that enforcement and those penalties will not begin until the 2028 tax year. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
In an effort to ease the effect of tariffs on Saskatchewan industries, the federal and provincial governments are providing funding to support impacted workers. Jasmine Pelche reports on the rollout.
The provincial and federal governments are working together, providing $15.6 million over the next 3 years to financially support 1,800 workers in Saskatchewan impacted by tariffs, with a focus on the steel and softwood lumber industries.
In this case, Saskatchewan getting their allocation. They then determine which sectors and how they respond to it, and of course they report back to us, and that's very helpful, and it's a very respectful relationship.
The funding, announced through the Canada-Saskatchewan Workforce Tariff Response, will help unemployed workers learn skills for in-demand jobs, while people who are still working can strengthen their skills and adapt to evolving industries.
What we're going to be using these dollars for is through an application process by businesses that are affected. So what they'll do is they will apply, stating that we've got, or workers, obviously they've got issues with employment sustainability because of a shrinking demand for their product.
Supports will be offered through Sask Jobs and training partners.
The province will use existing workforce development and skilled trades programming to ensure the rapid response rather than trying to reinvent the wheel with new tariff-related programming.
This tariff response effort is in addition to the $65 million the federal government already contributes annually to training and employment services in Saskatchewan. The province says employment opportunities may become available in the north through upcoming resource projects. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Canada's Natural Resource Minister is giving funding to a series of carbon capture and renewable energy projects across the country. That includes 2 in Saskatchewan. The Petroleum Technology Research Centre in Regina will get around $4.9 million to help analyze how CO2 moves and changes deep underground, while a Meadow Lake company will be getting $10 million to test new seismic surveys for carbon capture and storage measurement, monitoring, and verification. The funding comes through Canada's Energy Innovation Program. Well, it's becoming more and more prominent in North American politics. Adults kind of acting like children when debating the issues. Well, the Speaker of the Saskatchewan legislature has had enough. And this week, he scolded MLAs on both sides of the aisle and threatened to kick out those who continued with this behavior. Wayne Mantika has more.
Yesterday, I said I was going to be firmer.
Heckling during debate in the Saskatchewan legislature has become a distraction for the Speaker.
We took the carbon tax off, Mr. Speaker. We are saving the ratepayers
Some comments along the way, but it's so loud I can't even, I'm not sure if you're able to hear, but Minister, continue please. Let's have decorum in the chamber.
The Speaker is expressing his frustration.
But I asked nicely to keep your comments to yourself.
On Thursday, Todd Gowdy specifically called out NDP MLA Mira Conway.
It needs a serious answer. Are you able to keep your comments to yourself?
I'll do my best, Mr. Speaker. A lot of people talking in here today. I don't know why you're addressing me specifically.
Well, from my seat, I can hear all the voices in the place. There are a few that are outspoken.
The NDP say it's hard to sit in silence.
We're not allowed to stand up and say, those guys are lying. I can say it out here and I will say it to the people of the province. They lie day after day after day to you. Are we frustrated with that? You bet. Will we continue to be frustrated? You bet.
In a written statement, the government said the legislature should be a place of debate, not hate. Unfortunately, the NDP does not appear to agree.
I think that we should not hate the people that we disagree with. I think we should respect those differences, Mr. Speaker.
Hear, 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 hear.
It's a decades-old battle between opposing parties in the legislature that is showing no signs of abating. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
That we know is going to double.
Well, a Prince Albert man has been charged with the attempted murder of a police officer. RCMP say on Monday over the noon hour, a white SUV drove through a stop sign in Meadow Lake before speeding toward Highway 55. An officer tried multiple times to stop the vehicle and was hit by the SUV when trying to put down a spike belt to slow the vehicle. The officer was treated for injuries described as non-life-threatening. 26-year-old Keiston Mitchell from Prince Albert is facing a string of charges, including attempted murder, aggravated assault of a police officer, and assaulting an officer with a weapon. 26-year-old Jasmine Beatty from Deschambault Lake is facing less serious charges. The Crown has filed a notice of intent to seek an adult sentence for one of the accused in a quadruple homicide on Carry the Kettle, Nakota Nation last year. A 17-year-old who cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. In a notice filed last month, the Crown put forward notice it will seek an adult sentence following any conviction for the crimes. A second youth accused in the killings pleaded guilty to manslaughter last month. 18-year-old Darius Reset also faces 4 counts of first-degree murder in the case. RCMP are advising the public to be alert for fraudulent letters being sent, claiming that they've won a Set for Life lottery. RCMP say the letters come in handwritten envelopes, claiming to come from the lottery's president of operations, instructing the recipient to call a number and claim a lump sum prize. Police say the return address and phone numbers are not connected to any legitimate lottery company and are warning residents to be cautious of unexpected mail, never share financial information with unverified senders, and avoid calling phone numbers or visiting unfamiliar websites listed in suspicious letters. Nothing suspicious about our weather person, Sabine. She's going to give us the full details on what you can expect this weekend.
I mean, today was a nice little teaser of what's to come for tomorrow. We're going to see temperatures continue to warm up, and today, depending on where we were in Saskatchewan, we did see above 0 temperatures like Regina, and tomorrow is going to continue to warm up before we see a little drop in the temperature, and I guess maybe a spring-like storm is on the way, and I'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. For now, though, you can see that today's high for the Regina area, we got to +3, which is within that average range. Last year, we only warmed up to about 1 degree, so not too bad for today. Started out very cold this morning at -20. As we head into tonight, we will start to see those temperatures dip a little cooler, but even taking a look at our current temperatures right now, very warm, above seasonal for most of southern Saskatchewan, and wind chill not really playing a factor there. But like I said, there is a little bit of activity on the way, and I'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. Some of the most skilled youth tradespeople were in Regina and Moose Jaw trying to recruit the next generation of trade workers. Damian Smith has that story.
From sewing to bricklaying to robotics, the future of the trades are gathering in Regina and Moose Jaw for the provincial skilled trades and technology competition.
The trades are a hands-on activity, and kids need to do it hands-on. They need to be able to try it while they're in school. They need to put their hands on materials. They need to put things together.
Grade 11 students competing in heavy-duty mechanics from Melville and Yorkton say fellow classmates still have a desire for the trades.
There's a good handful of people that really want to be welders and mechanics, and mostly it's welders or just even millwright people.
At our school, we have welding and construction and mechanics and machining even, and it definitely helps get people interested in it.
However, it hasn't been so easy for recruiters.
Our children are taught by people who've gone to university, and they've lived a more sedentary lifestyle kids have.
According to the Educational Partnership Foundation, people working in the trades are retiring 3 times more than those entering it across Canada. They also say Canada will be down 15,000 apprenticeship roles within the next 15 years. Leaders in the trades programs are working on bringing down the median age.
They're typically going to a university setting first and not getting into the Polytechnic until age 26. And to go through a full apprenticeship and become a Red Seal tradesperson, that's like a 4-year journey.
According to TEPF, popular trades in 2026 are carpentry, automotive mechanics, and welding. Ones that are harder to recruit are painting, installation, and bricklaying.
I tell kids, watch the Los Angeles fires, the Jasper fires, Fort McMurray fires, any fires. What's left at the end? Chimneys and things that are made out of brick. We learned this when we were 6 years old, the 3 little pigs. We should be making buildings out of brick.
Gold medal winners at the provincial level advance to the Skills Canada national competition in May. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Well, Canada has always been a leader in preschool television programming. In my time, when I was a preschooler, it would have been stuff like The Polka Dot Door, Today's Special, Mr. Dress-Up, Friendly Giant, you get it. Now a new show is in production in Regina, focusing on the inclusion of everyone from all backgrounds, shapes, and sizes. Mick Fable tells us more.
This is one of the sets from the new TV show, How We Do It, a space built to welcome preschoolers and explore ideas of friendship, feelings, and being kind to one another. Inclusivity is a major focus where all are welcome.
This is one of our ways of just making sure that everyone feels like they have a space to be present, to be part of the conversation, and that they feel like they deserve to be here, which everyone does.
Donovan White plays Isaac, an art teacher who explores disabilities and how common they are in society. White says the role is special, and he's looking forward to seeing how it is viewed.
I'd love to see how everyone else, and not just the disabled community, but just everyone in general, how they see it and be like, oh, I never thought of things like that. It could be done like that, and So those are the things I'm more excited to see, is just the feedback that I get back from everyone.
Growing up, Allison Lang says there were no shows like this for her that depicted children who were born differently and treated just like everyone else.
I didn't know that other people like me existed in the world with disabilities and could be successful on television and, really showcasing their disability proudly. I think a show like this is so important for kids.
There are 27 episodes now being filmed at the Johns Hopkins Soundstage. Saskatchewan talent make up a large portion of the show's production. With a cast and crew of about 50 people, it's estimated $1 million worth of business is coming into the province.
The crew is working so hard. They're all so talented. It's a true testament to what can happen here in the province of Saskatchewan when people are coming together, and I think the results will show up on screen.
How We Do It will be available to watch on the AMI TV channel starting in July, with high hopes of a follow-up season. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, the federal NDP prepares to pick a new leader. And the U.S. and Israel continue their targeted attacks in Iran. While he was already in the bad books of the Conservatives when he crossed the floor and joined the Liberals last December, now Ontario MP Michael Ma is raising eyebrows after his comments after forced labor during a heated committee exchange that happened yesterday. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest.
We need to get short answers, please.
The House committee had barely started when Liberal MP Michael Ma launched into a line of controversial questioning.
Have you witnessed forced labor in Shenzhen? Yes or no?
About whether forced labor was happening in China and in its auto sector.
I think the comments of Mr. Ma either reflect a poor understanding of the situation on the ground in China, or I would put him in the category of useful idiots.
Ma says his questions were tied to Shenzhen, China's auto manufacturing hotspot, and not to Xinjiang, an area of well-documented human rights abuses against Uyghurs. In a statement, Ma said, "I asked questions that inadvertently came across as dismissive of the serious issue of forced labor. I condemn forced labor in all its forms." But Ma didn't specifically condemn forced labor in China, something the government isn't doing either.
We have had no change in our position. What we are against forced labor anywhere and everywhere.
Since Mark Carney took office, Canada has reopened diplomatic relations and warmed up trade relations with China. At the same time, Canada seems to have a softer tone publicly about Beijing at the request of the Chinese president.
I mean, he didn't say it this way, but I interpret it. Don't lecture me in public. Bring issues to me directly.
In his latest departmental plan, Global Affairs doesn't mention forced labor as a priority, a change from 2022 when the same kind of plan specifically said Canada will continue to speak out against China's repression of the Uyghur and Tibetan peoples. Advocates say Canada needs to be stronger in its fight against forced labor and needs to prioritize human rights in conversations with China.
When we sideline human rights, we are sidelining our core values and interests.
Canada has laws banning imports with the use of forced labor, but many experts say those laws are not strong enough due to weak enforcement powers. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Federal New Democrats are descending on Winnipeg for their first national convention since the party's disastrous result in the last federal election. The weekend culminates with the election of the next NDP leader. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, there's a lot at stake for the party.
Welcome to Winnipeg!
New Democrats from across Canada are gathering here over the next 3 days to talk policy, plot political strategy, and decide who will be their next leader.
Parties ebb and flow, and this is an opportunity for our party, and I'm feeling the excitement of this convention. 2,000 people, 100,000 members, raised the most money we've ever raised in the history of our party in our leadership contest.
Kicking the convention off, New Democrat Premier Wab Kinew rallied progressives in his home province.
In order for us to have a strong Canada, we need a strong federal NDP.
Delegates also paid tribute to former leader Jagmeet Singh, who resigned after leading the party into its worst ever election result last year. Before voting concludes Saturday night and the new leader is named on Sunday, each of the 5 candidates on the ballot, documentary filmmaker and perceived frontrunner Avi Lewis, Alberta MP Heather McPherson, dock worker and union boss Rob Ashton, Indigenous social worker Tennille Johnston, and organic farmer Tony McQuail will have one last chance to pitch members on their vision for the future of the party, a party that has a lot of rebuilding to do.
Us in the federal party, we need to build back our strength so that we are an asset for provincial wings.
Our job is to win more seats. Our job is to rebuild a New Democratic Party, not just for New Democrats, but for Canadians across the country, because our democracy is stronger.
Those I've been speaking with say this weekend isn't just about electing a new leader. It's taking those first steps towards demonstrating the party can claw its way back to relevance. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In the Middle East, Israel attacked 2 Iranian nuclear facilities today, a decommissioned heavy water plant and a uranium production factory. Tehran says there was no casualties and no risk of contamination. Now, the Israelis are threatening to escalate and expand their campaign against Iran when industrial sites were also struck today. Missile launchers and storage facilities in the western part of the country were also attacked. The Americans continue to strike Iran, which is still firing missiles at Israel and Gulf Arab nations. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to destroy Iranian energy plants if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened by April the 6th. And former world #1 golfer Tiger Woods is in custody in Florida after being arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. Police say Woods' Land Rover struck another vehicle and rolled over on a 2-lane road. It happened this afternoon not far from where he lives in Jupiter Island. There were no injuries. Investigators say a breathalyzer test did show no trace of alcohol, but they believe the impairment was drug or medication related. The 15-time major champion has been working his way back from a 7th back surgery last September. He has not said whether he plans to play in next month's Masters tournament. He was involved in a car crash back in February of 2021, suffering severe right leg fractures. Coming up, reminiscing about sliding into summer. A look back at the family destination that closed 6 years ago, the Kenosee water slides.
On Your Morning Saskatchewan, Terry Fox's brother Fred Fox is coming to your community. He'll join to discuss the inspiration behind the Marathon of Hope.
All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at what's to come heading into your weekend, and it's going to start out great. Similar to what we saw today, except even warmer. If we take a look outside through our sky cam, much nicer than what we were seeing yesterday with some of that snow throughout parts of southern Saskatchewan. Currently, we're sitting at 2 degrees. Did warm up to just over 3 degrees late this afternoon with the winds just over 15 kilometers an hour. Starting to see the winds picking up, gusting up to close to 30. Now, in terms of what's to come heading into tomorrow, it's going to actually be even better. However, we may start to see a little bit more cloud cover rolling in, and we're seeing that now on the radar satellite. So this is what we've got going in to this evening. Could see some of the winds starting to pick up as well. There is a little bit of snow expected to arrive in Saskatchewan, but as of right now, for heading into tomorrow morning, it's looking like it'll stay in mostly northern Saskatchewan. We may see some of it start to arrive in the southwest there as well as we head into Saturday. You can see just pockets of that snow in the Maple Creek area as well. Prince Albert, Lloydminster seeing some of that snow heading into tomorrow morning as well. And then we'll see that band coming through closer along to the southern border. Now, there's a slight chance we could see some scattered flurries in the Regina area Sunday morning, but most of it looks like it is going to stay hugging right towards that southern border. So Maple Creek, Swift Current, Assiniboia, Moose Jaw could possibly see some snow as well. And before it even gets into the southeast, we'll see it make its way down into the south. But as we head into Sunday night, this is where the Colorado low is going to arrive. Of course, coming from the south, it's going to different from the Alberta Clipper. We're not going to see really frigid temperatures with this, but we do see more moisture. We do see high wind gusts coming through with this as well. So we can see that rain, freezing rain mix around the Maple Creek, Swift Current area. Snow also expected. Now, southern Saskatchewan's actually going to stay still seeing warmish temperatures around 0, if not a little warmer than 0. The bulk of this snow looks like it's going to stay along the Yellowhead. So Lloydminster, Saskatoon, Yorkton, North Battleford seeing heavier snowfall. Could see accumulations anywhere between 5 to 15 centimeters of snow along that corridor. For southern Saskatchewan, does not look like it's going to be as much. Could be anywhere between 1 to 3 centimeters of snow. But in southern Saskatchewan, we'll also see that mix of the rain, freezing rain, and snow slush mix. Right after that system clears out, we'll see those temperatures drop as well, which could really affect traveling along with those high winds. So make sure you're checking the highway hotline tonight. We're still looking at colder than seasonal temperatures for areas in the north like La Loche, Larange, warming to -6 for Larange, La Loche, and Lloydminster tomorrow, -4 and cloudy for Prince Albert. -3 for North Battleford, Saskatoon, and Yorkton tomorrow, and seeing a little bit more sunshine in the Yorkton area compared to Saskatoon and North Battleford. The southwest way warmer than seasonal temperatures there. 9 degrees for Maple Creek, cloudy, 8 and cloudy for Swift Current, 7 and mostly cloudy for Moose Jaw. And in the southeast, similar temperatures, 8 degrees and mostly cloudy for Weyburn, cloudy and 8 for Estevan, 9 and cloudy for Assiniboia. For Regina tonight, a little warmer than what our average low is, about -7. So -5 tonight, winds picking up to 40 kilometers an hour. Tomorrow, warming to +6 with a mix of sun and cloud, winds at 25 kilometers an hour. And here's a look at a messy little forecast that we've got going on. So 6 degrees tomorrow, Sunday dropping to 0 by Monday. Again, we'll see that mixed precipitation. Winds actually could even pick up, gusting closer to 70 at points throughout the day. So again, make sure you're checking the highway hotline. Could be very messy on the roads. +1 is the expected daytime high. We'll drop below 0 to -3, mostly cloudy Tuesday. By the time we get to Wednesday, more sunshine. Temperatures still below 0 at -1. We'll see more of that mixed precipitation return on Thursday with the mix of sun and cloud. Winds back up, gusting up to 65 kilometers an hour, but still above 0 for our temperature at +3. And by Friday, cloudy and 0. So it's a messy week ahead, but this is the Colorado low around this time of year. Spring snowstorms it's not the first that we're seeing of this. And you don't like it.
I wish we could just get rid of the snow, but...
I know, and we did start to see some of it melt today, but it's almost like it's making room for what's to come heading into Monday. So just
prepare myself.
Give yourself time. Yeah, give yourself time Monday morning to start your work week.
All right. Or I'm going to call in sick. Thanks, Bing.
Okay, fine.
I'll be here. It was a summertime favorite decades ago, the Kenosee Super Slides, giving families hours of fun in the sun. But the Saskatchewan staple is no more. Closed about 6 years ago. Demolition of the site is nearly complete, leaving behind just a pile of dirt and lots of childhood memories, including those of our own Cole Davenport.
The water's great at Kenosee Super Slides. For more than 30 years, anyone passing by on Highway 9 or looking across the road from the village of Kenosee Lake could see a beacon of summer fun in southeastern Saskatchewan peeking above the trees. The infamous Free Fall, the main attraction of the Kenosee Super Slides.
They actually had a t-shirt that you could buy at the store, and it said, "I survived the free fall."
The free fall, an 8-story feat to be conquered by school-age kids and adults with a fear of heights alike, and one of 7 water slides awaiting visitors on those summer days between its first season in 1986 and its closure in 2020. Jordan Howie's favorite memory of the park, going down the free fall for the first time.
Went there at least once or twice a year in the summer, and those are some of the best memories of my life, and that was kind of part of the reason why I ended up working there.
Staying at his family's cabin nearby, Howie worked as a lifeguard during the summers. Over time, the park had its share of incidents, as with any attraction of its kind, from an apparent vandal draining all the water in 2008, more than 100,000 gallons worth, to a public health alert over a waterborne illness in 2013 and an injury in 2017 that made provincial headlines. But every summer, thousands of people would march up the hill overlooking Kenosee Lake again and again and again.
Sometimes on really busy days, up to 1,000 people coming in through the park, and you'd have lineups down the hill.
Carter Colopy started his job at the slides at age 15. He remembers a common trade deal with another Kenosee Lake institution, the Moosehead Inn.
So we're able to kind of exchange pizza for sliding after hours.
Today, the Moosehead is gone, destroyed in a fire in 2021. The Super Slides now joining it in the chapters of Kenosee Lake past. The water park shut down in 2020 when the Saskatchewan Health Authority pulled its operating license. Attempts to reopen the following 2 years were unsuccessful. In the time since the slides were last open, the provincial government said the park's condition deteriorated to the point it became a public safety risk. One of the park's owners, Jan Armstrong, said he and his family did not abandon the Super Slides, but declined to speak with CTV News further. The province ordered the demolition of the Super Slides in February, and by mid-March, the slides were gone, leaving behind only a blank slate of fresh dirt for whatever comes next, and memories for people like Colopy and Howie.
You know, it had a good run, and it made a lot of people's days and made summers awesome for a lot of kids and a lot of people growing up there at the time.
It's a big loss. Like, there's a whole group of kids now that will never know what it was like to go to Kenosee and just spend a day at the Super Slides.
What the future holds for the former Super Slides site is unknown, but whatever does end up getting built here someday is sure to make a splash. Cole Davenport, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, Saskatchewan's version of March Madness, Hoopla, is underway in Moose Jaw. David meets Goliath as the WHL playoffs gets underway tonight. The Regina Pats, a young team featuring 2 underage players in Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh, versus the defending Ed Chenault Cup champions, the Medicine Tigers.
Sometimes as a player that can be intimidating because you're like, oh man, are we getting overwhelmed here? So they're going to be, you know, for us, we got to do our best to keep them off the scoreboard early. You know, I think build our confidence and build some momentum internally for our group. And I think that once we start doing that, maybe we start chipping away at them, building some frustration. I know what maybe they're thinking might be an easy series, but for us, we got to make it difficult on them and make them come the hard way.
Regina will be in tough against the number 2 seed Tigers, looking to make the most of their first playoff appearance. The Pats since 2023. Tigers won all 4 games this year against the Pats. They're trying to be the first repeat champion since 1994. Puck drop is set for 7 p.m. Also tonight, Saskatoon's in Edmonton, and Prince Albert, ranked first in the conference, will host the Red Deer Rebels. After a 2-day break, the Yorkton Terriers and Melville Millionaires are back at it tonight in Game 4 of their SJHL quarterfinal series.
Gavin Bartha gets wide on Binder. Bartha walks in, backdoor feed for rebound, and they score.
After losing Game 1 last Friday, the Terriers have won 2 straight, including an overtime victory in Game 3 in Melville on a goal by Vinay Junik. Both starting goaltenders, they've been pretty good, boasting goals against averages under 2.5. Only both Flin Flon netminders have a better GAA in the playoffs. Game time at the CN Community Center is 7 o'clock. Whether you're a basketball player at a big city high school or have a handful of players from a 1A small town school, it's where everyone wants to be at the end of the year. Hoopla, the provincial basketball championships for high school girls and boys of all levels. Jacob Carr checked out the action today in Moose Jaw.
A slew of 2A games at Peacock Collegiate in Moose Jaw as some of these smaller towns in Saskatchewan went toe-to-toe, and the atmosphere in the gymnasium was a rowdy one. House for the 2 earliest games of the day at the annual Hoopla High School Basketball Provincial Championship. Several of the province's communities represented during the day, including Priestville, Langham, and Davidson. And while those Saskatchewan towns might be smaller in population than a Regina, Saskatoon, or even a Moose Jaw, that doesn't mean their fans won't show up in droves to support their own. One supporter in the stands had a split allegiance over the weekend, showing up to cheer for Priestville, Kenora, and Sturgis.
They've traveled a long way to be here, and a long season, a lot of driving for these kids and these parents and these schools. And basketball is important to these people and to these students. We drove through a blizzard to get here.
Tomlin is a former basketball coach and referee and says while hockey might be the first sport people think of in a small Saskatchewan town, basketball is on the rise and the support has reached a fever pitch. That fervent support was certainly on display today during a tightly contested semi-final boys game between the Priestville Panthers and Davidson Raiders. Resulting in an eventual 9-point win for Priestville, proving no matter what division it is or the size of the town playing, sport for high school basketball in Saskatchewan is alive and well. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, hundreds of young dancers gather in Yorkton to showcase their skills.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast heading into tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're not going to see active weather. We will start to gradually see some warm-ups, but still in central Saskatchewan, we're going to see some colder than seasonal temperatures, still looking below 0 for many parts, including Spiritwood and Meadow Lake expecting some light snowfall, -4, -5, and cloudy for Melfort. A mix of sun and cloud for Wynyard, -4 there. But then we will see some areas bumping above zero. Outlook +2, Kindersley +1. And then when we get closer to the southern border, that's where we see some warmer temperatures, cloudy conditions due to a system that will be making its way into Saskatchewan as well. But +11 for Rockland, cloudy, and 12 for Coronach. 9 degrees for Maple Creek, East End Cypress, Assiniboia, 6 degrees for Lumsden and Pilot Butte with a mix of sun and cloud. And if we take a closer look, I just ran into the studio, guys. 0 for Siemens tomorrow, mainly sunny conditions with the winds up to 30 kilometers an hour.
Are you good? Yeah. Okay. A Saskatoon car dealership is picking up the pieces after an early morning fire on Wednesday. It comes just months after another fire happened at the dealership. Stacey Hine has more.
It was a shocking wake-up call for Randy Dow. Around 4:30 a.m., he got word his business was on fire.
I was in shock the whole time, didn't quite understand why.
The fire damaged the west side of the building and 6 vehicles. Dow, who's been operating here for more than 2 decades, says there were signs someone had been in the area before the fire.
There's blankets, there's grates, there's bags, there's some food left over. It did start on the outside, and from there I'm assuming it lit the cars on fire and the rest of the building.
Saskatoon police say an arson investigator is looking into the cause. It comes just months after police began investigating an arson at the dealership in December. This is security footage that was featured in Crime Stoppers. Police say the person in the video set a fire in a front passenger wheel well, leaving one vehicle a write-off. Police say no arrests have been made in that case.
That was one episode that we just had to deal with, and now this.
Dow says this latest fire has forced the business to close for a couple of days. The fire department estimates damage at about $350,000. And Dow says costs are already adding up, with staff, overhead, and other bills to cover.
I can't put a value on it just yet.
The team at Dow Auto is now moving into a temporary trailer office, hoping to be back up and running this weekend and get back on their feet.
We just gotta keep our heads up, stay strong, and continue on.
Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Hundreds of dancers are in the city of Yorkton this week for the Vibe Dance Competition that runs till Sunday. Regina DeClute tells us more.
The Gallagher Center has turned into a colorful extravaganza, from animal ears to tulle skirts, balloons, and music signaling the arrival of the second annual Vibe Dance Competition.
We have 880 dancers here from 15 different studios. They're just coming and they're competing, having fun, bringing positive vibes, and spreading the energy and love for dance.
Magnusson and her sister came up with the idea of a new competition when they were in Saskatoon. They grew by over 300 competitors this year.
We also are one of 6 qualifying dance competitions for new Sask Dance Provincials. It's a new dance competition that is now provincially operating, first year this year. It's in June in North Battleford.
In Yorkton, dancers can compete in various age groups, experience levels, and categories.
Like there's ballet, pointe, there's lyrical, contemporary, there's musical theater. We have live singing, we have lip singing, there's hip hop, jazz, tap, modern, you name it.
This means the dancers and staff put in long hours to deliver the best experience.
Teachers and dancers are here by 7:15, warming up, getting ready, and we're running right through till probably 10 o'clock at night because we have so many people that wanted to come. So
the 4-day event lasts until Sunday.
I think it could help me with getting criticism and everything, and also learning how to become a much more stronger dancer in a way, and I think it's just a great competition for that.
For aspiring young dancers, the competition can be a step toward reaching their goal.
It's always been a dream of mine to be in musicals and do Broadway and things like that.
The tulle skirts and good vibes will be in the Gallagher Center well into the weekend. Regina DeClute, CTV News, Yorkton.
Let's take a look at the canola street prices. $10.80 it's gone down today to $649.53 per ton. Futures price also go down by almost $7 to $720.50 per ton. Amber durum wheat stayed the same, $232, 1 cent per ton, while red spring wheat's down 52 cents at $279, 3 cents per ton. Feed barley, $232, 1 cent per ton, and flax is $670, 54 cents per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bungie. As for the markets, the TSX went up 73 points. The Dow Jones, though, it went down a decent amount by 793 points. As for the Canadian dollar, it went up a little more than 1/10 of a cent to 72.04 cents US. Commodity front. Gold up $117.98. West Texas Intermediate crude up $5.16, approaching that $100 mark for a barrel. While Western Canadian Select crude was up $4.22 to $78.55 a barrel. And gas in Regina currently can find it for $1.63.9 per liter.
The war in the Middle East is again pushing up the price of oil. West Texas Intermediate hovered around $100 US a barrel today, with few vessels getting through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is now trying to charge ships as much as $2 million to cross. Bloomberg estimates about 39 vehicles have made it through in the last week. Typically, 60 would make it through a day. Motorola is buying Bell's land mobile radio network for $675 million. The push-to-talk radio communication service is used widely by law enforcement, firefighters, and other emergency services. The deal is expected to close in the last quarter of the year. Talk about mixed drinks. There are reports 2 top beverage makers could merge. Pernod Ricard, which makes Absolut Vodka and Jameson Irish Whiskey, and Brown-Forman, which makes Jack Daniels, are in talks. Both the French and the American company are family-run businesses and have seen sales depressed. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up tonight, it'll be Celebrity Jeopardy at 7 o'clock, followed by Happy's Place at 8. Children Ruin Everything. W5 Avery Haynes investigates the Big Bang Theory at 10. Doesn't investigate Big Bang Theory, it's just it's after investigates.
Possible.
So, hey, who knows what they have on there. You good? All right.
Sorry. Yes.
When you are going to a performance, you usually know what to expect.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna start laughing.
The Golden Retrievers were sitting patiently for a show, but once the first few loud sounds came from the trombone, the dogs scrambled to their feet. One barks, another takes off out of the room. The Retrievers' startled reaction to the trombone performance is now viral online, leaving many viewers in stitches. Oh my gosh, the poor puppies.
And jumps right at the camera, so.
It's also what like a elementary school band performance probably looks like. Emergency responders had to stick around. I was in band to stick around for quite a while to clean up this traffic accident.
I don't know, I'm enjoying the music. A portion of a major Los Angeles freeway temporarily shut down after authorities say a truck carrying syrup overturned and spilled the sugary substance all over the place. Look at that, the highway's glistening. Westbound lanes of I-10 were closed for nearly 9 hours while crews got the sticky situation cleaned up, meaning this sugary snafu left many commuters probably very salty. They had to find a way around it. But the music makes it fun.
Sounds like a circus.
Probably was a circus that ended up causing the syrup to fall. I was wondering if it was maple syrup, because that's, you know, perfect for Canadians. Little pancakes, just show up there with pancakes. Get the syrup.
Is that what you would do?
No.
Have a good weekend.